Hello everybody, it's Bill, it's that college football guy here with another video. Yeah, here in the truck. I'm getting right to, we got part 2 to get to. We're talking about Michigan State. Oh, there I got a damn list here. Minnesota and the ever powerful Nebraska. For part 2 of the Big Ten prediction videos. I parked and stopped early in the day because we got some major accidents here on the 75. I can literally blow through an hour drive time just to drive 12 miles. And I might not even make that far. So there's no point. So let's get to this. First school up, the defending national champion, Michigan Wolverines. Then you asked what their schedule was, what record was last year. They was there 15-0. Harbaugh gone at the Chargers. Who did leave? Coaching staff wise, not Sharon Moore. He stayed. Was interim head coach while Harbaugh was a problem. Now he's head coach on there, and I hope he can do good. Kirk Campbell, the former quarterbacks coach, got promoted offensive coordinator. Hope that's going to work out well. And then probably the greatest name for a defensive coordinator is Wink Martindale. Previously, the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants in the National Football League is the coordinator. So how's this going to work in here? Here's the problem for Michigan off the jump. Who's your starting quarterback? I mean, we got Jack Tuttle, Alex Ortegy, Davis Warren, Jaden Dumgall, and Jaden Davis. 5 people up for the job. We still don't know. Yikes. Running back room, that's solid. Wide receiver room, well, they lost a lot, and it's kind of in flux right now, so we'll see how that goes. The offensive line, though, is the biggest question mark for them. I mean, they have depth, and they have guys that came in the portal, but all 5 starters are gone. So how well can this new group do? They have the talent. They're talented enough, but cohesion-wise is the problem. You know, that doesn't happen overnight. Defensively, I'd say the defensive line, you know, has its losses too, so we're kind of uncertain with that line, how well they can do and perform. They're not going to be good as, none of the defense is going to be as good as last year's. Too much talent left for the National Football League. But the linebacker room is probably going to be the strength of this team. The weakness of this team is going to be the secondary. They are very inexperienced. But I don't know how that's going to translate. So shall we get into this? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Michigan Wolverines. Their first game on the schedule. I feel sorry for Mikey Keene and the boys. Fresno State travels to Ann Arbor, and you're going to get blown up. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Fresno just doesn't have the talent to keep up with Michigan. This would be, if somehow Fresno pulled this off, which I'm giving it out of a billion, maybe a 1 out of a billion chance, it'd be one of the biggest upsets in the history of college football. But I still don't see it happening. Fresno State's going to lose to Michigan. Then it's at home against Texas. You're at home. It is Ann Arbor. But you are not as talented as Texas. Everybody's back. Reloaded. The Longhorns are beating you. I'm sorry. I don't have to go into the personnel department on there because they're just going to beat you. Stay at home against Arkansas State. Wow, 3 straight home games. Non-con Arkansas State doesn't have the firepower to keep up with Michigan. They're out of there. Then we got USC. First time Michigan gets to play, and they're hosting USC. USC gets to go cross-country to Michigan. USC, we know about them is the fact there's no Caleb Williams. There's a lot of uncertainty there. But I got to give it to him. I got to give him the chance here. I got to give him the shot. I got to give him the best spot possible. I'm going to pick Michigan to actually beat USC at home. Surprised me when I thought about it. So, like, on there is just the fact is it's just home cooking. And USC traveling cross country. That's what's going to hurt them. Then they play Minnesota at home. Yes, 5 straight home games to start the season. Tell me this doesn't help everything out? You're hosting Minnesota. You beat them by 42 last year, but Not going to be the same thing. The game's going to be a lot closer. But I'm having you beat Minnesota. Then you go on the road at Washington. Who's more in flux? Who's got more change? Michigan or Washington? Washington. And even though this is a repeat of the national title game, and that was two different teams, but Washington has, I think, even going cross country is going to hurt Michigan. This is not going to be a blowout. This is going to be a dogfight. But you know what? I'm going to give it to Michigan over Washington. A lot of people are going to question that. That was a game I really, really argue with myself over. Is that cross-country travel is going to hurt Michigan, but I don't see Washington just having talent. I just don't. Then you go into a bye week after that run. You're 5-1 out in the bye. You come out of the bye on the road at Illinois. If you watch part one of these videos, you know how that went. You're going to get the win over Illinois. You're at home against Michigan State. Michigan State does not have the firepower to keep up with you. Get the win there. You're at home again against Oregon. A lot of home games, you noticed? Home games against Oregon. Oregon has to travel cross country. It's going to hurt them like it hurt USC. Normally, I'd say yes. But Dan Lanning's team didn't lose anybody. They lost and they reloaded. They are not like Michigan and Washington. And Oregon's going to come into Ann Arbor and beat you. So you get your second loss of the season. Then you're on the road at Indiana. If you watched part one of the Big Ten predictions, you saw that happen. They're going to get the win in Indiana. Then they get the bye. Then they're at home against Northwestern. Northwestern, just even with Michigan losing players, they just don't have the firepower to keep up. I'm sorry, Northwestern can beat you. Then you finish the season on the road in Columbus at Ohio State, who's going to beat the brakes off of you. I don't see this game being close. It's a possibility it could be, but I just don't see it close, which puts Michigan at 9-3 for the season, 7-2 in conference. So let's go next up. The Michigan State Spartans, 4-8 last year. Not a good year. The whole Mel Tucker situation. They bring in Jonathan Smith from Oregon State, and he brought in a lot of his staff, including his starting quarterback, who's now supposed to be the starting quarterback at Michigan State, and that's Aiden Childs. How was he going to handle things? A lot of Oregon State players left. Some people say that with all the influx from the portal, from players coming in, the entire offense, both sides of the ball really, that offensively they may be better than last year's Michigan State team. Michigan State's team drastically underperformed, so I'm not exactly a high bar compared to last year's team. Defensively, secondary is solid. That was actually good, actually. But of the players in the front seven, 9 are new. A lot of turnover there. How well can they pick it up? Well, we're going to see about that. So, game 1 of the season at home against Florida Atlantic. And you're going to beat them easily. Then you go on the road at Maryland. If you watched part 1, you already knew this. Maryland will be beating you. Then you're back at home again to face FCS Prairie View A&M. You're going to win that one easily. Then you're on the road at Boston College. If you watch the ACC predictions, you already know you're going to beat Boston College on the road. Then you come back home against Ohio State, who is going to absolutely annihilate you. It's going to be ugly. You're losing at home to Ohio State. Then you go on the road, cross country to Oregon. Talk about a back-to-back. And you're going to get blown up on that one too, so you're going to lose that game. Now you get a bye. You come out of the bye at home against Iowa. You watch part 1, you already know. You're going to beat Iowa. Then you're on the road at Michigan. Well, we just talked about this game literally a couple seconds ago. You're losing in Ann Arbor. Then you come back at home against Indiana. You watch part 1 of the predictions, you already know how I explained this one. You're going to beat Indiana. Then you go into the bye. Out of the bye, you're on the road at Illinois. Now, this is one game where I think because of how things going and attrition and injuries, it's going to catch up with you. I explained this in part 1. I have you losing to Illinois. This is one of those games where you shouldn't lose, but you do. Then you're home against Purdue. Purdue's not a good team. They're going to be one of the bottom. They were Purdue and Indiana were the bottom two teams in the Big Ten last year, and it's not looking good. And I have you beating them again. Then you finish the season at home against Rutgers. You lost by 3 to them on the road. Last year you did, Spartans. This is a revenge game at home. You finished the season with a win to beat Rutgers to finish the season at 7-5, 4-5 in conference. Now we're talking about the Minnesota Golden Gophers. 6-7 last year. They beat Bowling Green in the Quick Lane Bowl. I forgot to mention something here. For both these teams, those I've done previously, and I apologize. Michigan had a preseason win total of 9.5. I had them going 9-3. Michigan State had a pretty good win total of 5.5. I have them going 7-5. Just in clarification, I forgot that. It's my apologies. Minnesota, Vegas has their win total of 4.5. They're not thinking that much here, because again, Big Ten West schools are now having to play Big Ten East schools a lot more because there's no more division, so it's really going to make the road tougher. PJ Fleck, 7 years at Minnesota already. My goodness, it's been that long. The offense was absolutely horrible last year. You got a new starting QB. You got Max Brosmer from New Hampshire, the FCS stud, and he's an upgrade. He's an FCS quarterback, but he's an upgrade. So I'm hoping how fast can he grasp the offense? That's going to be a question here. The running back room, you got incoming transfers, but it's pretty solid. The wide receivers, man, who's catching the ball? Your top 4 wide receivers left. Who's catching the ball? How well did you recruit? We're going to find that out. Offensive line is actually okay. Hopefully they improve. They just cohesion, time is what's going to take for that, and hopefully they can do it. Defensively, the defense is actually pretty solid. They're not going to be ones who are going to blow your doors off by being great, but they're going to be a solid defense. The biggest weakness on this defense is lack of pass rush. They got to improve the sacks. You've got to get after the quarterback, or this is going to be a problem. So, what's Minnesota's schedule looking like? Well, your number 1 game. You start off at home against North Carolina. If you watch my ACC prediction videos, you already know how this goes. You're beating North Carolina at home. Then you come back, stay at home against FCS Rhode Island. You beat them as well. You're on home again against Nevada, one of the worst G5 schools. You're going to beat them as well. You're home against Iowa for week 4. If you watched part 1, you already know you're beating Iowa. You're 4-0. Now, on the road at Michigan. We just covered this. You're losing at Michigan. You're at home next game against USC. Talk about a back-to-back. USC's coming cross-country a little bit. You're facing Minnesota. It's up there. It's going to be a little bit cooler. But they just have far more talent than you do, and you're going to lose to USC. And then you're on the road at UCLA. Cross-country hurts you this time. And the fact is, this is your 7th consecutive game to start the season. This hurts a lot. So you're going to lose at UCLA. So coming into your first bye of the season, you're 4-3. Come out of the bye at home against Maryland. If you watch part 1, you already know this. You beat Maryland. You're on the road at Illinois next. Part 1 also. You lose to Illinois on the road. This is the one that's basically who is at home. It's a lot of like Illinois, Minnesota. Some of these games are a lot of coin flips. Who's at home is who I'm picking, because it's basically even. And then you're on the road at Rutgers. This one is another one where I looked at it like Rutgers is a team that's very physical, that's going to be beating people up, but they also get beat up. But, they're not going to have to face the gauntlet they had to face. It's on the road, and that's the tie break. You're losing to Rutgers. Now you have another bye. You come out of the bye at home against the Nittany Lions of Penn State, who are going to beat you up and beat you. I'm sorry, Minnesota, but Penn State's just too damn talented. And you finish the season on the road at Wisconsin. You lost to them by 14 at home last year. Can this offense, with the depth and everything, put up enough where you can pull off the upset on the road? I don't think so. I think Wisconsin's just too much. So you're going to finish the season 5-7, 2-7 in conference. And lastly, in this part 2, we got the Cornhuskers of Nebraska, who went 5-7 last year. Vegas has a lot of faith in Nebraska. They have them going. They have a win total at 7.5. So, wow. Let's see. What do we have here? Remember, well, Matt Rule, second season as head coach. How's it going to go? Is the team improving? How can I sum up the entire Nebraska season? How good's Dylan Raiola? Because unless something changes, a true freshman is starting at quarterback for a Big Ten school. Name me the last time that happened, because I can't think of one. They're going to go as far as he goes, because I don't see anybody, unless he gets hurt, anybody unseating him for the job. I just don't. The running back room, y'all seriously need to improve, because it just wasn't there last year. Wide receiver room, got a lot of players in from the transfer portal. They're going to be a lot better. How much better depends on Dylan Raiola, and also depends on the offensive line, who got put into the portal, but they appear to be a pretty solid line. Players back. I think they're actually going to be in a pretty good spot next year offensively. Defensively, their entire front line from the defensive line comes back. All starters are back. The linebacking room, if you looked at Nebraska's linebacker numbers, they were tackling machines. They just nailed everything. They just kept going. So their defense is a strength for this team. Linebacker room is going to be at it all day long. The defensive backs, too much yardage given up and not enough turnovers for us, not enough picks. That has to improve, or there's going to be a problem. So let's start with the season for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. You're going to start off at home against UTEP and beat them easily. Then you're at home again against Colorado, the team you lost to by 22 points last year, that put Colorado on the map. And I started with going with this game, and I looked at both teams. Colorado won big at home. Now Nebraska's at home. Colorado's on the road to Nebraska. Who's going to win this game? This is a former Big 12 matchup. But who's going to win this? And I started looking at defensively, overall, okay, about even a little bit. Because of defensively, Nebraska is better, but the offense is too. So it came down to a simple question to me. Who is going to perform better as a quarterback, Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Raiola? And this is early in the year where your offensive line's going to be in flux and the timing won't be there. As much as some people are going to hate hearing this, I have Colorado beating you, and you're at home and you're losing to the Buffaloes. It's not primeism. It's the fact is I trust Shedeur more than I trust Dylan Raiola. I can't. I was looking for a reason. Okay, is there any reason why Shedeur could be outperformed by Dylan? No. So you're losing to Colorado at home. Stay at home again, third week in a row. You're home against Northern Iowa. You're going to win that one easily. And you're at home again for Illinois. If you watch part 1, you know this. You beat Illinois. Then you're on the road at Purdue. You beat them by 7 at home last year. Purdue has improved a little bit, but they're not enough. I have you on the road beating Purdue. Then you're at home against Rutgers. Rutgers is a team that is really hard to predict because a lot of it's coin flip. Because they have a defense on there. They are solid in aspects, but they're not enough. Nothing over the top. So I looked at this as a coin flip game between Nebraska and Rutgers. Who's winning this? And Nebraska's at home. So I'm picking Nebraska. So you're going in your bye. You're 5-1 into the bye. You're on the road at Indiana, out of the bye. If you watch part 1, you know this. You're beating Indiana on the road. Then you're at the Buckeyes of Ohio State, who are going to destroy you. I'm sorry. This, I can't say destroy you. You're going to get beat. You're going to get blown out. Destroyed is like 40 more points. I don't see that happening. And then you follow that up to be at home against UCLA. Now, the difference of this game is that I started thinking about this. Okay, you're at home. UCLA's got to travel. You should have the advantage. Except the problem is UCLA has a bye to prepare for this game, and you just got beat up by Ohio State the week before. And I have you losing to UCLA at home because the damage of Ohio State plus UCLA having time to prepare. I'm giving UCLA the edge to beat you there. Then you go into your second bye. You're on the road at USC. Yeah, you're losing that one. Just the travel to be there, and USC, they're going to have an offense. It's going to go. Can Nebraska's offense keep up? I don't think so. Then you're at home against Wisconsin. You lost by 7 on the road to them last year. Can you come back and win this game? Actually, I think you do. I think you beat Wisconsin at home, and you finish your season on the road at Iowa. I covered this in part 1. You're losing to the Hawkeyes. So that puts you at 7-5, 5-4 in conference. So again, to recap the overall records, Michigan 9-3, 7-2 in conference. Michigan State 7-5, 4-5 in conference. Minnesota 5-7, 2-7 in conference. And Nebraska 7-5, 5-4 in conference. But I've done enough talking about this. Why don't you let me know what you think about part 2 of my prediction videos in the comments. So thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't done it already, do me the favor. Smash the like button. Hit the thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. Helps the video be seen by more people. Comment on the video. What do you think of my predictions? How far off am I? How bad is this? Michigan, Michigan State, Minnesota, Nebraska. How far off am I? Let me know about that in the comments. Share the video if you want to. And if you haven't done it already, check out, first off, if you've subscribed, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you haven't, hey, check out some of the other videos I've done. And if you like it, subscribe to the channel. You know, hey, just working things going here, trying to get to 1,000. If you want to follow me on Twitter, on X, the link will be in the description. Again, thanks everybody for watching. I'm sitting down here in Florida to get to this point. I'm literally down here in Ocala, north of Ocala, because I just avoided one wreck, and there's a second bigger one coming up ahead, and like I said, 12 miles an hour and then 20 minutes to go 12 miles. And I've been sitting here at this truck stop, and there was 60 empty parking spaces here. The accident just got worse to 35 minutes, and now we're down to roughly... Well, I had about 25 in front of me. I count 6 left. Everybody's coming in because that accident is getting worse. Life of a trucker. So thanks everybody for watching. I hate how low this thing is, but it's just the way it's got to be, is otherwise the steering wheel is going to block, because here's the top of the steering wheel. The steering wheel will block part of the thing. So thanks everybody for watching. Hope everybody's having a great day. Part 3 tomorrow. Steve from the Big Mountain, your Penn State Nittany Lions are tomorrow. So thanks everybody for watching. Everybody's having a great day. Be safe out there, and please be good to each other.